Today's topic, 5 traps that could ruin your Roth IRA. And by traps, we mean life events. And by ruin, we mean that you can fix it with a simple process, relatively simple process, called the Backdoor Roth IRA. But these are 5 items that we see often. Not a ton, but especially with new clients, we're usually seeing it more often there where we have to maybe fix one of these. And that's the other good news. It's fixable. So we're going to walk through 5 of these. 4 of them are really good life events. 1 of them not so good, I guess, depending on your situation. But we're going to cover all of them. How to fix it, what to look for, the backdoor Roth, all of it. Stay tuned. That's coming up next. Okay, so let's get started with some basics. The fix is the Backdoor Roth IRA. And if you're a viewer of the Wealth Keel YouTube channel, you know that we love the Backdoor Roth. We have it in pretty much half of our videos, probably, heck, maybe more than half of our videos. But it's an easy fix to the comment of, I make too much money to save to a Roth IRA. False! You can save to a Roth IRA, just gotta add an extra step. It's called the Backdoor Roth. So this video is going to be for those of you that were going to go directly to a Roth IRA, but because of a life event, you now have to add in this extra step. So I'm going to give you some high-level numbers here based on 2024. If you're watching this in future time, just Google the numbers. Easy to find. But these are the numbers I want you to keep an eye on. I got to bounce a little bit more than usual for this one just so I can give you the right numbers. There's only so many numbers you can actually memorize, right? If you are single, the magical number is 146, $146,000. If your income is below that, you're safe. Still go to the Roth IRA. I'm not going to go through all the categories. I'm going to go through the main ones that pertain to most viewers, knowing that there are others out there as well. Married filing jointly, that number jumps up to $230,000. Here's the one that is really important for physicians in particular, especially those of you going for public service loan forgiveness. Married filing separately, assuming that you live with your spouse for any amount of time during that year in the same household, plummets $10,000. And I use those examples because 3 common tax filing situations. There are others as well, but those are your 3 most common for the most part. If your income is approaching that or is going to go above that, you can still get money to a Roth IRA. That's why I always yell false when someone says, I make too much money to save to a Roth IRA. That is not true. You can, but you have to follow these steps for the Backdoor Roth IRA. And in the most layman terms I can give to you, all you're doing is making a contribution to an IRA, a non-deductible contribution. You're letting those funds settle. Depending on which human you like to take your advice from, that number can be the next day, could be 30 days, could be a quarter, could be a year. But we want you to wait for a period of time and then convert it to your Roth IRA. That move right there is the Backdoor Roth. And then once it's in the Roth, don't forget to invest it, right? You got to make sure you do that part as well. Now, there are other rules to follow with the Backdoor Roth, right? The easiest way to mess this up headed into this is make sure you don't have any other IRA balances, right? Don't have a traditional IRA, don't have a SEP IRA. That's why we prefer the solo K over the SEP. Don't have a simple IRA. Any of those IRA balances, it's not a clean, hey, I put $7,000 in, I converted it over, right? And I should add that into the important numbers. $7,000 is the current limit for 2024, up to $8,000 for the 50 plus crew. But with that, you're making that non-deductible contribution, and then it's going over to your Roth IRA in that conversion, right? So those are the main points that you need to understand for that Backdoor Roth IRA, and it is a way to fix it if you make too much money. So those are the high-level overviews for the Backdoor Roth. Now let's get into some of those life events that could maybe ruin things for you because you thought you could go to the Roth, but all of a sudden you have to do the Backdoor Roth. First up, marriage. Congratulations. Special, beautiful time. Awesome. But it could have ruined your Roth IRA. You can still fix it. Don't worry. We'll get to that towards the end here. But if you're coming into this and you were a single filer, right? You weren't married yet. You were under 146. You're thinking life is easy. I'm going to go right to my Roth. Especially for those of you that do contributions earlier in the year. which is something, at least for WealthKeel, we actually like to do because you get a whole extra year of compounding interest, right? Ideally, tax-free compounding interest, assuming the market goes up. Doesn't always work out perfectly, but that's usually why we try to do it earlier in the year. So for those of you that are in that habit, you have, 11 months, 12 months, depending if you do it, at the very start of the year, of a lot of life can happen. So you're thinking, hey, I'm single, I can easily do the Roth, but then you're getting married later this year. And then your spouse has also high income. Think dual physician household. Dual physician household, yes, it depends on the specialties, but for the most part, you're probably flying right through our first checkpoint of that $230,000 income limit. So marriage is an easy way to ruin a simple Roth IRA. And ruin is a harsh word because marriage is beautiful, and this is an easy fix. We can fix this. So that is the first stop here. We're going to cover marriage. I'm going to save it towards the end on how to fix these because how to fix them actually applies to all of them. So I'm not going to give it to you 5 separate times here with the same sentence. We'll cover that towards the end. So first thing that can ruin a perfectly good Roth IRA, marriage. But marriage is beautiful. Next up, the opposite side of beauty. Divorce. And where can divorce ruin a Roth IRA? Well, let's use an example, right? Usually it's a lower income earner or a stay-at-home parent per se, right? In that example, you could be the high income earner. Let's just say that you're coming in at, say, 210, right? You're making $210,000 per year and you have a stay-at-home spouse. At 210, using the 230 limit for 2024, a lot of twos in there, you're still below the limit. You could have went right to the Roth IRA. But unfortunately, you go through a divorce in that given year. You're at 210. Single limit's 146. Over the limit, my friend. We need to fix it. So divorce, especially in that situation where you have one high income earner and either a stay-at-home spouse, stay-at-home parent, or a lower income earner, that could also derail your perfectly good Roth IRA. And now you're back to the drawing board of, oh sugar, I got to do the backdoor Roth IRA. So the second event that can throw off a perfectly good Roth IRA is divorce. The next two are going to be very specific to our physician fam. So first one up, last year of training physicians, whether you're finishing up residency or fellowship, this is one of the biggest traps that we see. A lot of our clients will join us very early on in attending, whether that's the first year or that second half of the year, I always call it. That is a very common time for new clients to join us. And this is a very common mistake that we'll see, where they did their Roth IRA earlier in the year because they're a resident, they're a fellow, they're well under that 146 limit in the single capacity, or even the married 230 limit, and they're comfortably under that depending on what their spouse is doing, right? So in this example, we always will tell our oncoming clients, depending on when they would join us, to keep an eye on this one in particular. Because you gotta think, the first half of the year, you were on track to make, say 70,000 for that whole year. But then you have a very good paying specialty. Usually that first year, what are they going to add in there? Hopefully they're adding some type of bonus. Maybe they did some type of weird stipend for you, or maybe they added in some taxable benefit to move you across the country. Maybe they added in a lump sum, student loan bonus. There's a lot of ways that you can really inflate your income at the very start too. So it's not uncommon for a lot of our physicians to think, I'm well under that limit. I'm not near the 146 and the 230, but then they take their attending role, they get that salary jump, awesome moment, but also some bonuses come in and they do go over that number. So if you are in your last year of training, just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean that you can't go directly to in a perfect world, you actually go right to the Roth because the money is technically more accessible as opposed to a backdoor Roth. A backdoor Roth actually adds a 5-year wait if you need those funds. When we know a client will be below that, we do like to go directly to the Roth. But if it's going to get anywhere close, or especially anywhere in that phase out range, we want to add in the backdoor Roth there. So we're going to add in that extra step and then prepare really for that process every year going forward. So third group in here, one of our favorite groups, that last year of training physician, whether that's residency or that fellowship role as well. The next trap, married filing separately. And for a lot of individuals that don't have student loans, you might think, who the heck would ever use married filing separately? But if you are a physician or any high income earner that has student loans and you're going for public service loan forgiveness, married filing separately is probably one of your top 3 besties. This is an important one. This is one that we want to keep around. We want to run the numbers on. But remember, with married filing separately, your number plummets. you could pretty much say that I can't really think of many that we work with. Really, it's a very broad stroke of the brush here, but really anyone, because the limit plummets to $10,000. If you are earning more than $10,000 married filing separately, you can no longer go directly to a Roth. It has to be the backdoor Roth. Out of all of the ones that are missed, this one is probably missed the most, because a lot will either go back to the 230 number, or they even think that 146, the single number. So now it plummets, it's 10,000. So pretty much anyone doing married filing separately, if you're doing contributions directly to a Roth IRA, you probably want to double check your work, check in with your accountant. You likely need to fix those. They likely need to be a backdoor Roth IRA. So our fourth group, big student loan issue here, married filing separately, which is a great tool for your student loans, right? Married filing separately is a fantastic tool, but it can really hurt you on student loans in terms of the actual numbers for your Roth IRA. The student loans are the student loans, but the married filing separately can really help hurt you on the number to go directly to your Roth IRA, which is where we're going to enter in with that backdoor Roth IRA. So married filing separately, our fourth trap on the list. Last but not least, an income jump, because this is a great problem, right? Your income jumped so much that you went right through that ceiling. You are now making too much money to go directly to the Roth IRA. So again, using our limits, we'll use single 146, married filing jointly, that 230 number. Married filing separately, we're probably not going to celebrate the income jump too much, because remember, our limit was 10,000. But those numbers, if you break through those and you did a Roth, we got to fix it. We got to go to that backdoor Roth. So the fifth one on our list, which is a beautiful problem to have, is that income jump. And usually this is thrown off by some type of bonus, right? Especially with our physicians, I was expecting a bonus of X, but I got Y. Good problem to have, but now I'm well above that number, right? So income jumps can also derail that. And remember, to do a Roth IRA, backdoor Roth IRA, you really have up until you file your taxes. So you get a few months of wiggle room looking backwards. So you could always wait. And it's funny, about half of our clients do it backwards, half of them do it forward. So meaning, like, on January, we usually have a day that we call backdoor Roth IRA, and it's usually like the second or third business day of the year where we reach out to all of our clients and do our backdoor Roths. And when I do that, about half are forward looking to actually get it done in advance, where the other half are still going backwards. Like, they still have to, like in this example, it's early 2024. We send that email out in early January. They're working it backwards still to get 2023 done. For some of our clients, about half, actually, it's amazing how it works out, are doing forward in advance. So the latter of that, if you're doing backwards planning, you'll know these answers, right? You'll have them planned. For our group that does them earlier, some of these could sneak in. Now, if you're an established attending physician, we know our system, right? Probably not too many shocks at these 5 life events, or at least I hope not. So 5 on the list, income jump, fireworks, good for you. We love the income jumps. Okay, so you did it. You messed it up. You got caught in the trap. What do we do? Well, the good news is it's a relatively easy fix. Can it be a little bit of a pain in the butt? It can, but it's not hard to do. And today with custodians, this is a very common fix. But essentially, the key is to try to fix it in the year that it occurred. When it goes after, it can get a little bit harder. The easiest way to describe this without being able to speak for every custodian out there is you essentially need to pull out that contribution. Most custodians will also be able to calculate the gain in there, right? So they got to do their calculations there. They'll move it back to your IRA or move the funds to you. And this is where you're going to think I'm crazy. But now you took the money out of the Roth IRA, you got it back. Let's just say it came back to your bank account for easy purposes. Here's what you got to do now. We're going to use 2024 limits. So let's just say nothing happened. Like, you put the money into your Roth IRA and magically it stayed at 7,000. But then you had your income jumped, right? Now you got to pull it out. So you say, hey, I got to fix this. I got to remove that excess contribution. Send me the 7,000 back. $7,000 comes back to your bank account. You're going to think I'm crazy, but here's what you got to do. You now have to put the $7,000 into an IRA. Remember, no simple IRAs, no other IRAs in general, traditional IRAs, no simple IRA. Put the $7,000 into the IRA. We label this as a non-deductible contribution. Wait whatever period of time that you're comfortable with to make sure that the IRS is happy with the step doctrine. Convert it to your Roth IRA. That's right. We went back to the same exact spot. And don't get mad at me. Argue with your vote, right? You can talk to the politicians. This is not something that I understand either, in terms of this is the silliest thing ever, but that's all you got to do to fix it. You got to pull it out of the Roth, get it back to you, put it into the IRA, convert it over, get it invested. I know. It's a funny tax code, right? It's a funny thing, but that's how you fix it. Not too hard. Again, some calculations in there, most custodians will run those for you. Get those fixed sooner than later. Excess contributions can become quite the tax hit over a long period of time, or I should say the tax penalty hit over a long period of time. So get that fixed sooner than later, and you should be in a very good spot if you fell into any of those 5 traps. And there you have it. 5 traps that could ruin your Roth IRA. And like I said, not really traps, right? More or less life events. 4 of them, we'd argue, are good or neutral. 1 of them, maybe not so good. But those are 4 traps to keep an eye on. And even if you get in one of those traps, deep breath, we're okay. Remember that last chapter, easy to fix. Get it fixed, try to get it fixed sooner than later, but you can get these fixed. And remember that Backdoor Roth IRA is a tool that you can utilize going forward. As always, thanks for hanging out with me for the last 15 minutes or so. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. We got plenty of great content. Click on the bell icon. We'll even tell you when the new one's coming out. And we're sending it to you weekly now. Weekly updates for your Wealth Kill channel. Also, any topics, any questions you want to hear more about, drop them in the comments. You probably noticed some of our content has come directly from your questions. I love the questions. I love the real world examples. So send me any questions you have. We'll build on those. Hopefully we'll get them in a video coming up for you. Again, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you on the next video.